Leslie Reads here, and today we are going to be going over our August wrap-up. Now, I am going to admit, this is probably the longest wrap-up I've ever done. I am also going to admit that this probably won't be the longest wrap-up I've ever done. Simply because of the fact, most of these books are short as fuck. Because this month, I don't know, I was in my short smut novel reading extravaganza, apparently, and I just read a shit ton of short novels by smut writers by like S.B. Hazel, Alexa Riley, Lena Little, Jessica Kane, Cassie Mint, just the well-known ones that I can see from my list here. So, yeah, we're going to go over everything I read from this month, but be aware, like, most of these are short books. I'm not going to remember everything that I read. What I do remember, I will tell you, but what I don't remember, obviously, I can't tell you. But, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started, so that way we can start on our September reading list, which I haven't made yet, but I will after this video, probably. I don't know. Okay, so starting off strong, I read this in August 1st. It's His Flame by Justin J. It's part of the Snowflake Falls Fire Department, and I rated it 2 stars, and it was only 39 pages. So, all of the books in the series, there's 3 books in the series. I'm pretty sure it's an ongoing series, but I don't remember. They were all books based on the chief and other members of the fire department, plus their women. Very short, very okay smut levels, I would say. I'm used to dirtier, but of course, this series just wasn't for me. Every single one of the books in the series, which is His Flame, which is the first one I called out, His Heat and His Fire, I gave all of them 2 stars, and they were all about around 40 pages on average. Yeah. And then next up we have Pump 2 by J. Cherry. And it was only like 165 pages, but oh my god, it was such a good book for being such like a short smut novella, essentially, is what it is. It is about this girl that works at a gas station. There's this guy that starts to come in, and he rides a motorcycle, you know, he keeps his helmet on, she can't see his face. But slowly they develop like a friendship. There's a little bit of lust there. And eventually it just comes out. They end up starting like some sort of relationship, mostly sexual relationship, and then he gets more possessive of her as the book goes on. I loved it. It was so good. I gave it 4 stars. And I genuinely enjoyed it for like a 165-page book. It didn't feel like 165 pages. It felt like longer, but in a good way. Like, it felt like it had a lot of depth. It felt like it was well thought out. It wasn't just thrown out onto the pages. And, oh my god, I enjoyed it so much. I recommended it to my friend immediately after because I was like, yes, that book. Like, is it the best book ever? No. It is a short 165-page novel. But still, for the content material, I guess, it was hella good. Now, I think this is a debut novel. Let me check just to be sure. No, okay, so it wasn't the debut novel, but there was a short, like, 67-page book before that came out, and then she did Pump 2. And those are the only books that this author has. But I am following this author on Goodreads. So I will be reading more of her stuff that is longer because it is really good. I enjoyed it. You know, it's just, that's it. I enjoyed it. Like, it was really good. We'll See You Now by S.B. Hazel is the next book that I read. I gave it 2 stars, 66 pages. Don't remember a single lick of it. I recall maybe a small scene where, actually, I might remember a little bit of it. Okay, so the guy is a principal, assistant principal, some shit like that. And this girl is homeless. She got kicked out of her place, so she has to go make money to try to figure some shit out. So she ends up going into a sex club, I guess. And basically the whole situation of the book is that the sex club is where they hook up two random strangers together that fit each other's BDSM, like, wants, desires, fantasies, needs that they like, right? And depending on what their each individual's desires are, they connect people with another person that have similar interests, so that way they can perform together, I guess. And she ends up realizing halfway through that basically this is her assistant principal and she's in high school and it's highly illegal for her to even be there, but he doesn't know that until he sees her at the school and he's like, oh, I fucked up. Yeah, that's all I'm going to tell you about that one. I rated it 2 stars and it was 67 pages. Would I read S.B. Hazel's books again? Probably not. If I didn't enjoy 2 of their books, I'm not going to read anymore, I don't think. But of course, I'll try out longer books if she has them. I haven't looked through her catalog, so I don't know what she has. However, based off what I've seen, it wasn't the best. But obviously, there's not a lot to go off of, so we'll see. Hefty by Jessica Kane, which is part of the More to Love series. It was 3 stars and it was 62 pages. Don't remember a single thing out of that one. Bulky is the next book in the series of More to Love, and it is book 2. I rated it 2 stars and it was 73 pages. Also didn't remember anything of it. Never Enough by Kelly Elliott in the Meet Me in Montana series, which is book 1. It's about this girl who leaves and to go live in Montana just to build her interior design business, find herself in a new place because her father guards her. Like, he dictates a lot of the things she does, so she kind of wants to escape just so she can find herself, figure out what she wants to do. There she ends up meeting Brock, which is a bull rider. So he does the competitions and stuff for that, and he's one of the top bull riders. And they meet and they immediately clash because Brock is a single father. He lost his wife, and essentially he doesn't meet the girl in great circumstances, so he already judges her off of that, as any single father would do, be protective over their children. And he kind of just acts like an asshole for majority of the book until we slowly see him come into the idea of, oh, I like this girl, da-da-da-da-da. Overall, gave it 4 stars. I bought the book about a year ago, and I didn't get to reading it until now, and it was a lot better than I expected. So, yeah. So next book I read is Shielding Lily by Alexa Riley. It is 3 stars and it was 167 pages. Okay, so I am an Alexa Riley fanatic. I've read a lot of her books. They're mostly all short-ish smut novellas. And overall it's just fun, light, easy to read. I read a lot of her books in gaps. And you'll see you'll see her name come up a lot in this video. So essentially, in Shielding Lily, Lily is this girl whose father abuses her and blames her for her mom's death because she died during childbirth. So she just moved to a new town, I believe, and the football player, I think he's a football player. He might not be a football player. He does some sort of sport, I think. And he immediately sees her and he feels a sort of connection to her, so they start hanging out and immediately they form a romantic relationship. And overall it was just a cute, fluffy little thing until it started to get a little bit angsty, dark. He finds out that her father abuses her, all that. Just your average insta-love romance smut story, I guess. Yeah, but overall I gave it 3 stars. It's definitely not my favorite Alexa Riley book, but it was one of the better long ones, I can tell you that. I don't read a lot of long ones of Alexa Riley. However, she does have some good ones, and most of the ones that are good are short. But yeah. Next up is Lovely Neighbor by Alexa Riley. It's part of the Lovely series. I gave it 3.75 stars, and it's 155 pages long. So Lovely Neighbor is about this girl whose place gets ransacked. So she goes to go stay with her grandma for a little bit. Her grandma ultimately ends up setting her up with her young billionaire neighbor. So she keeps pushing them together to try to get them to fall in love, and eventually they do. So, good job to Grandma. She was right. She kept trying and she got it. I love it when the grandmothers meddle in the relationships in books. It's hilarious to me because it's just like, okay, they see it. Like, get together. And then the second book is a little bit shorter in that series, which is Lovely Baker. I gave it 2 stars. So it's about this girl who's raising her little brother on her own after her parents passed away. And she works in this bakery, and the guy who owns it is kind of a dickhead, but ultimately he was in love with her all along, and he bought the place just so he could be near her, and ultimately she made the place better, and, you know, billionaire men motorcycle, they do a lot of shady shit, and so he figured out about the kid that she was taken care of, and a whole bunch of other shit, and the romance, the romance is there, I promise you. But what's my thing? I preferred the first book much more. Mr. and Mrs. Alexa Riley, which is a part of the Promises series, and it's book 1. I give it 2 stars, and it's 94 pages. If this is the one that I'm thinking of, I'm going to Google it first before I give you the whole wrong synopsis. So, Philip, now that I can see the names, you guys will actually get some names right now. Philip has been married to his new wife for about a year. However, he holds himself back with her simply because he thinks he comes off a little bit too strong. Molly, she goes to his office one day just to basically push him a little bit to, like, you know, be hard with me, be rough with me, like, do what you need to do. And she ends up walking into his office, finding him with another woman, and she basically runs off, finds out she's pregnant, disappears for like a few months, and he's devastated. But the thing is, that night, he didn't have consciousness when she walked in on him, so he doesn't even know what happened to make her run off. So Molly gets into an accident and gets amnesia, so he finds that chance to take her back home, take care of their baby, hoping she doesn't remember, and if she does remember, trying to figure out a plan to keep her with him. Always Enough by Kelly Elliott, which is the Meet Me on Montana 2 series. Meet Me on Montana, but it's book 2. Okay, so I give it 2.75 stars. It is 304 pages, and I don't remember a lot. I know it was the brother of Brock from the first book. And I know the series is still ongoing. There's more books I need to read for it, but I just stopped at this one for right now. But this one, brother was also a bull rider. However, he ended up getting into an accident like a few years back that caused him not being able to do that job anymore. So, you know, he fell into drugs. He, just to like soothe himself, because he felt like that was his one thing. And then he ends up meeting the girl from the first book's best friend, and then they end up forming a relationship, but it's kind of like an off and on because he pretends to not like her after trying to, like, flirt with her and shit. it happens in the first book, but we don't we don't get the full picture of what happened until we read the second book. So there's that. I don't remember a lot of that one, but I know that the girl had a husband in this one, and he ended up killing himself. And a whole lot of other things happened in this book. It was a whole lot. Very angsty, lots of drama, you know. And then next is The Fucking Wrong Man by Sarah Jane. 514 pages. It's the fourth book in the Fucking Wrong series, and I give it 4 stars. So this book is about Camden. And the series revolves around a group of hockey players. If you've watched my channel, you know I read the books before, and you know every single time I read Sarah Jane's books in this series, I forget I'm reading. Because it's so, like... I love hockey players and smut novels, right? So the whole premise of the series is that these hockey players fall in love with these girls on site, ends up stalking them. You know, it's dark romance. It's dark romance. But crazier dark romance, right? It's on the same level of, like, Zayd Meadows' dark romance, I would say. Maybe. The first book is closer to that level. It slowly goes down as we were reading on. But I already forgot the main character's name. Camden. Camden ends up meeting this girl. She's a ballerina. He goes to one of her shows one night and then immediately falls in love. Now, he ends up trying to find out who this girl is. He finds out some things, that she's homeless, and then he ends up having to try to, like, get her to be in love with him so he'll feel safer, like, with him. And he's just down bad for this girl. Like, love Camden. He's great. Absolutely. He's definitely one of the tamer guys in the series. So, if you're looking for dark, but not bad Zayd Meadows dark, this one's probably for you. Simply because of the fact that the guy's not that bad as the rest of the other guys in the books, in the series. So, yeah. But I love Camden. But will I always love Lincoln Daniels more? And Ari, what's his last name? Walker Davis is the third book. I always forget Ari's last name. Ari... I don't know. I give up. Starts with an L. I know that. That's okay because I can't remember Camden's last name either. Actually, I think Camden's his last name. I don't remember what his first name is. Bro, I don't know, man. But I just know every single book in this series was good. The one I think I liked the least was probably Walker's book. But I don't know. But I think it's just because it's a pregnancy trope and it's famous singer. I don't know. It's just weird. Burley by Jessica Kane, which is More to Love, Book 3. Gave it 1 star, 55 pages. Don't remember a single thing that happened. Do not ask me. Google it. Husky, Book 4, 3 stars, 61 pages. Don't remember. Google it. The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. One of my customers at my job recommended this book to me. And, you know, I caved. I gave in. I was like, okay, yeah, cool. It's in my closet anyway. We're going to read it. 3.75 stars. Was I confused? Hella half the time? Yeah. But I get the appeal. I see why everybody enjoys it. It's a somewhat short book involving Greek mythology, but with a twist on things. It is a romance between Achilles and Patroclus, and then all about the Battle of Troy. And yeah, it basically just recounts everything on the mythological legends, I guess. There's different legends of Achilles. Some of them having the homosexual relationship that the Song of Achilles had. Some of them don't have that. It's kind of left up to the legends. People dictate however they want to dictate, you know. And this was just Madeline Miller's interpretation. Next up is Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon, and it's about this young teenage girl who believes she's sick. She's unable to go outside. She's sick basically to the human air, everything outside. It is a illness called skid, that's what it was. Severe combined immunodeficiency. And she's basically allergic to the world. She'll get sick if she goes outside. But then a new neighbor moves in. She ends up falling in love with the teenager next door. It's a very cute romance story, and I read the book immediately, watched the movie after, and I was in love. And that twist at the end, crazy. But yeah, super good. Definitely recommend it. And, you know, I probably wouldn't have read this book if I hadn't found it at the library, the public library. So, library haul coming soon, because I went again after I returned the book. And now we're going to try to find my new book from the library that will be my favorite after this one. So, yeah. Next book is The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. It's part of the Hazelwood series. I DNF'd it at page 64. My rule is now, if I don't like a book by page 50, I'm gonna DNF it, because I do not want to waste my time. Simply because there's so many books in the world I want to get to, and I'm gonna die without finishing my TBR if I just keep reading the books that I don't enjoy. So therefore, that is where I'm going with that. For my birthday, I received For the Fans by Nyla K by my best friend Elena. I give 4 stars, and it's 504 pages. It is a relationship between two stepbrothers that are only stepbrothers for a certain periodic amount of time because their parents end up divorcing after they get together. They end up falling in love. However, it's a whole lot of twists, a lot of dark shit in that book. But it was so good, y'all. I sobbed. Genuinely sobbing on the floor, and I loved the romance between the two characters. And it was Karan and Avi, and basically the parents got together, and then they were forced to be stepbrothers, and then they ended up going to college. They absolutely hate each other. Well, Avi doesn't mind Karan. Karan hates Avi simply because Avi is more of a free-spirited. He does what he wants. He is who he is naturally. And Karan kind of lives up to expectations of his father. So anyways, they end up going to college, and the father ends up losing his job. They have to figure out a way to stay in school. And they ended up opening an OnlyFans. And I will let you read on from there. Because, oh my god. I was recommended this book by Larissa... Larry Reads, you might know her on YouTube as. She recommended it in one of her videos, and I was wanting to read it for, I think, years. For a few years at least. And I took the opportunity this year to get this book, and no regrets, absolutely. So The Bad Man by Lex Riley is the next book, 1.25 pages. And it is, no, 1.25 stars, and it's 90 pages. Can you imagine a book that's only 1.25 pages? I don't know. But yeah, I don't remember anything of that one. I received an ARC. I'm not going to give any sort of summary because I have a video up of it. The One Who Got Away by K.L. Shannon. I rated it 3.75 stars, and it's 294 pages. This is K.L. Shannon's debut novel, and I was lucky enough to be able to part of the lucky few that read it. So yeah, if you want to find out my review of that one and how much I enjoyed it, go watch the video for the arc. It is in the link down below. Cool. Okay, next up is Bio Bruiser, which is More to Love, Book 6, Jessica Kane. And it is 2 stars, 67 pages. It is about this guy who works for this other guy, you know, picking up debts for this mafia guy, and he ends up going to this house to pick up a debt, and then the guy ends up freaking out and gives him his own daughter as collateral for his debt. So the debt collector kind of just goes, okay, where's she at? He goes to go get her, and he immediately falls in love, doesn't give her to the mafia man, just, you know. They end up falling in love, you know, smut, no, how it goes. Husband skills. No, king-sized, book 5 of More to Love, 2 stars, 70 pages, don't remember it. Husband skills. Cassie Marrying the Boss skills, book 3. I went out of order with this one. 4 stars, 81 pages. Basically, they work in a bar. She likes her boss, but obviously didn't say anything. Her boss is kind of well known as being this delinquent man, because he went to jail once when he was younger. Dumbest shit I ever heard. But it was a cute book. I will admit that. A Wife Project. Book 1 in the Marrying the Boss Skills series. It's 2 stars, 79 pages. Don't remember a single lick of it. Baby Proposal is book 2 in the series. I read that one. It's 2 stars, and I gave it, and it has 90 pages. And it's essentially about this girl who has a sick grandmother. She's in retirement. She's slowly losing it. And so she wants to be able to give her grandmother a baby, so she can have a grandchild before she goes up to the rainbow in the sky, whatever. And her boss ends up finding out that she's trying to get sperm off of a dude. So he's like, no, I would rather you do it with me. It would be much safer that way since you actually know me. You don't know this guy, whatever. And then in his head, he's thinking, like, if I can make her fall in love with me during this period of her being pregnant, that's all I need. Like, as one does. Yeah, and that's the premise for that one. Last book that I read in August is Possessive Stepbrother by Lena Little, Steamy Shorts series, book 1, and it is 2 stars, 64 pages. I remember little of this. I remember the mom ends up dumping the daughter off at her stepbrother's house, and then he sees her, and then he's just like, oh my god, I'm in love with this girl, because they never met previously. He thought, oh, she's a cunt like her mom. So yeah, there's that. And that leads me back to the book I am reading currently, which is I Fell in Love with Hope by Lan Colley. I discovered this author on TikTok a few years ago, and it was around the time she released the book, and so now I'm reading it, and we've come full circle. So I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It's already making me deeply emotional because it's about, like, sick kids in a hospital with diseases and who are essentially dying, and it's about their friendship and how they deal with it, and it's just very touching. It's a touching book to read after a month full of smut and dirty shit, and I needed this. I'm on page 125, but I need this. I need to feel something other than horny. That's such a lie, because I'm never horny. I just read the books for fun. But yeah. It's good so far. I'm actually enjoying it, but I need to finish it. So I'll give you a review on it in the next month's wrap-up, which is September. So yeah. thank you guys for watching. And I will see you guys in the next video. Leave a like, comment about what you guys want me to read next, do a video on, etc. Because I'm running out of ideas. And I'm about to do a library haul. Yeah. And then we'll see how I like those library books. Yeah.